piracy for. Is this also true that there is a great deal of corruption and mistrust that have prevailed amongst the Somali society that has resulted in a defunct government? Or is this just a made-up hysteria by politicians, international leaders, and media people like myself? Do you think we are just talking nonsense, or do you think we are making some sense? Do you believe there is a future for Somalia? Or should we just shut down the country, tell all the Somalis to leave and go to a place where they can live and their security can be guaranteed? If Somalia has become a basket case, wouldn't it be a better thing to do, and that is to close it down completely instead of vying for these positions of power? What do you make of these suggestions? You think I'm completely outrageous? If you think and want to challenge us, why don't you give us a call? These are all hypothetical questions. None of them are necessarily correct or incorrect. What do you make of them? And you may have a third way, fourth way, and your own way. Many of you are watching this program. Do give us a call. Ask your questions to Nuruddin. He is a presidential candidate for the coming election for the Puntland state. He is not the president, or doesn't want to be the president of the whole country. So tell us and tell our viewers, I'm sure there are many from your Puntland state itself who are your voters. Why should they vote for you? What is it that you're going to do that is different?
Well, we are representing the new age of, we are representing new policies, new vision, and new leadership that the country needs. The country now needs a new energy, people who can understand Somali itself, and people who can understand the rest of the world. I and my team as well, we had the privilege of having both, having the best of both. Maybe we lived and worked in the West and in different countries, but at the same time we lived and worked and even currently live in Somalia, and we know the aspirations of the people, we know where the system can be corrected, and we shared and live it with their own.
How do you answer to some of your critics who actually say you are just another Western stooge being put forward for Somalis, and you may become the president, but you will be no different than any other Western puppets that we see in most Muslim countries?
Well, as I told you just now, for the last 5 years, I've been inside Somalia, working, talking, and sharing the life experience.
That doesn't mean you're not being put there by somebody from outside.
I can assure you, I'm not being put there from somebody from outside. Started my political, movement from the ground, and the people of Puntland do know that. They do identify me as someone within them, someone who started this idea. It's not something that I went there to start. It is something that I felt that is an obligation on me when I have seen what is happening there, when I have seen what we can do, and how we have to take the responsibility ourselves if we're going to make any change. So I can assure you that we are not starting from Western countries putting us there. I don't even subscribe, as I told you, an international intervention as a solution to Somalia. I do subscribe to local initiatives, local solutions to Somalia, and that's where we started our journey.
You have talked about new age policy and new vision. So that's what you would want people to believe. How will you translate some of those new vision, new policies, for example, in tackling corruption in Somalia?
Well, we need to build
Puntland, perhaps.
We need to build systems. We need to build institutions. There are no institutions of transparency, for example, there who can assure where the state resources go and where they come from. So we need to build institutions that can guarantee transparency. We need to build institutions of governance that can give a political space for everybody to be included. We need to build institutions that can check and balance what the politicians and the executive branch of the government can do. I think that's how we can ensure to get rid of the corruption in Somalia.
But it is true, though, that Somalian and the politicians in Somalia, just like most of the other developing world governments, are quite acutely corrupt.
Well, and where did that leave us? I mean, at the moment, we still don't have a properly functioning government in Somalia.
But those governments who are currently claiming to be governments or parliamentarians, still getting their salaries, still living very well off by the state, and still claiming their expenses as high as they would while they're defunct.
Well, I don't think they are living very high living standards. I've just been there in Baidaba, and I know the situation that they're living. Of course, they're getting some salaries, but it is